you're off work today for Labor Day, it might be the perfect time to get a few extra things done around the house.
Whether you're cleaning up the yard for a barbecue or looking at the end of summer home sales, there are some simple things you can do right now to make your home a little safer, a little more fire resistant. I talked with Dr. Ann Cope, Chief Engineer at the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety, about some of the best ways to help your home stand up to a disaster.
We are no strangers to wildfire season here in the Northwest, and this is typically the time of year where things have been really hot and really dry, and we got to be careful. So if people are out today, working on some Labor Day stuff around the house, what are some things they can look at?
Yeah, Labor Day is a great day to take care of some of the things around your yard. And the good news is there are really things that you can do today, Labor Day, to make your home less possible that it's going to burn in a wildfire event. What we want to do is keep those embers that come from the wildland fire, you want to give them no place right next to your house to start a spot fire and then light your home on fire.
We talk about that creating a defensible space. So what does that really mean?
The most critical thing for the defensible space is that zone right next to your house. We're talking about from your wall or your deck, look at your entire house all the way around, your walls and your deck, 5 feet out. That is the space that is the most critical. And we've seen it over and over again here in the lab where we do experiments and also in post-event analysis. That 5 feet is absolutely critical. And so what do you want to do there? Remove those hedges, remove the bushes, remove all of those things that are combustible, flammable. And you want to choose things that are hardscape, patios, paver stones, gravel. Make that as artistically wonderful as you can, because that's the aesthetic that you want to have something that's truly adaptive to the wildfire climate that unfortunately we're seeing more and more of.
Right, and we're seeing it in those urban, wild interface areas. So, neighborhoods that maybe previously you didn't have to worry about fire. Everyone has to be fire aware now. I think people sometimes think about, I don't have my firewood right next to my home, right? My big wood pile, it's over in my garage, or it's in my shed, or it's in a corner on the property. But what are some of the other things that can be really flammable or harmful that people often overlook?
Yeah, thank goodness people are moving that firewood away, because that's like critical. But, bushes, you think, well, but it's green. Well, that green juniper bush is, unfortunately, it's like a little green gas can, especially the ones that have the oils, they will burn even though they are green. And so having them right next to your house, particularly right underneath your windows, is sadly asking for that spot fire to be there and then break your window and now it's in your house. The other thing to keep Mother Nature, keep those wildland fires out of your house, is your vents. Vents to the attic, vents to the crawl spaces. Embers are going to want to get in there. So you want a screen in front of that vent that's going to be 1/8 of an inch to keep those big embers out of your house.
That's something that I would not have looked at. You look at some of the things as far as what you can do on your home. In addition to covering vents, are we seeing materials being made now that are more fire resistant? If you're taking a look at things and thinking maybe it's time to look at redoing my siding or my roof, are there some better options out there now?
There really are some good options out there. Tempered glass for your windows. The fire ignition resistant siding. There are some good products out there, and they will be more expensive than your typical, entry-level building products. And so you can pay more and get those resistant products. But what we are finding is that, the biggest bang for your buck, the thing that you can do today without having to replace your siding, is that 5 feet and those vents. Get everything out from underneath your deck. Get those combustibles away from the sides of your wall. And then you're not giving the fire a chance to start. So then it's not going to ignite your siding. That is just one of the best things that people can do to reduce the ignition potential for each of their homes.
That sounds budget friendly, little elbow grease, and some small changes that can make a big impact. Dr. Ann, thanks so much for the tips, really helpful information as we wind down these last few critical weeks of fire season here.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Emily.
Okay, another tip, check your roof. Dr. Cope says homeowners in Oregon should have a Class 1 or a Class A roof, and most already do. But if you find that you have something like a wood shake roof, you might want to consider an upgrade to a newer fire-resistant material. That's going to be a more expensive home project, but one that could save you in your insurance and could ultimately save your home in the long run. So you can find much more ideas from landscaping to home upgrades at disastersafety.org.
We were talking about it during this story, but that demonstration with the fire resistant setup on one side and the one that didn't have it, wow. It's a stark contrast.
Even something as simple as the landscaping.
Yeah.
You know, as she was talking about those little juniper bushes, the bushes around the home was what caught fire from those embers.
Right.
And then the home
Then
went
everything
up
else
and
did.
followed suit. So that defensible space, you know, you talk about it and you think, yeah, does that 5 feet really make a difference?
And
Clearly it
clearly does. That was fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating when you see it tangibly
like
that
that.
way. Yeah, absolutely.